Seeing as my last video was a little bit dark, we're gonna make this one a lighthearted one. And then we'll get all gloomy. This morning's video that I will be talking about comes to you from Global News, and it's entitled, quote, "Perfectly preserved dinosaur embryo found inside a fossilized egg," unquote, something like that. Check it out. A fossilized dinosaur, because we say so, embryo was discovered in southern China, shedding light on the links. There are many now between modern birds and dinosaurs. This beautiful animation comes to you courtesy of Linda Zing. I wonder if she was also the one to animate the invisible enemy, right? Why can't they just show us the thing as it is, exactly as it is, without interpreting it? Why can't they do that, right? Well, they can't. The intact embryo was found inside a fossilized egg and is estimated to be between 66 to 72 million years old. Oh, let me not even get into these dating techniques and how bunk they are, but the simple fact that whichever one they use to date this particular specimen has an accuracy of, or tolerance, if you will, error of 6 million years, right? I mean, that speaks for itself, right? That really should speak for itself.
So this is one of the best preserved dinosaur embryos ever found and reported in Science.
Okay, how the hell do you know it's a dinosaur, right? Now, we know what lizards look like. We know what birds look like. We know what mammals look like. We have experience with all these various species of these different classes of animals, yeah? So we can take these things, animals, slaughter them, right? Examine them, observe them in their natural environment before we do any of that, and then chop them up and break them down all the way to, I don't know, their DNA subatomic level. You tell me, right? Like, we know these things. We can study them very, very, very well. And then we could look into the past and see if there's anything like that we find in the fossil record, right? And that makes sense. That's logical. But to invent a completely new, different thing without having any real life example of this thing, right? That takes a certain leap of faith, does it not? Yeah. But this is the religion of Soyentism, right?
And because it is so well preserved, we can observe its posture very clearly, which allows us to compare it with other dinosaurs.
Okay. So, is that a beak? Can anybody see a beak on this damn thing? I see a beak. What do you see? Moving on.
As well as modern birds. After careful fossil preparation, basically...
So fossil preparation, right, is basically a scientist, or better yet, an artist with a little pick and maybe the archaeologist's version of a Dremel tool, something along those lines, working away at the material, right, taking it away and exposing this fossil. Now, the question that immediately comes to my mind is how much of what the final product looks like is due to the artist's personal choices, right? An artist who no doubt had been brainwashed by Soyentists to believe that what he has in front of him is this, and that, and not anything else, right? How much of what finally emerges, quote unquote, emerges out of that egg is sculpted by, up to the artist, bringing it out of it, so to speak. I wonder.
We see the whole skeleton very clearly, although some body parts are still embedded inside the dinosaur egg. And we can see a very, very clean and well-preserved skull, which doesn't have any teeth.
I guarantee you, the second they found the egg, the first thing that everybody thought was dinosaur, right? And they were already thinking of what species it could be before any artist took any implement to this egg. They were already telling themselves dinosaur. I guarantee you 1,000,000% that's what happened, right? But these people are obviously unbiased and objective.
And this feature is actually it's very typical in Oviraptorosaur. And because of this feature, we assigned, and together with other anatomical features, we assigned this specimen to Oviraptorosaur. So in modern day birds, they have a unique behavior called tucking. So
Oviraptorosaur, why? I think I missed that part.
And we can see a very, very clean and well-preserved skull, which doesn't have any teeth. And
doesn't have any teeth.
This feature is actually it's very typical in Oviraptorosaur.
Right. Not having any teeth is typical in Oviraptorosaur, right? Have we ever met one of these things? Have we ever seen it? Have we ever bred it? Have we ever observed it in its natural environment? Right? This dinosaur, because I say so, had no teeth, because I say so, right? And it's unique amongst, or one of very, very few dinosaurs that was born without teeth, right? How the fuck did it eat? But, we can say it was this thing that we more or less imagined, right? We were this thing that we basically rendered in our minds because of prior conditioning, like that artist with that Dremel tool. We could pick out this one little thing, right, that we don't even really have proof ever existed. We've never seen it. We've never observed it. Probably don't even have its DNA. Definitely not in full, right? It was that, right? Like, what are the chances that it was that or, well, a fucking bird? How about it, guys? Right? Because we know from observation that every single goddamn bird known to man has no teeth, is born without any teeth, has no teeth in the egg, and comes out of the egg with no teeth. Like, we know this about birds, right? So what are the chances that it's one of these known thousands, no doubt about it, species, various species of bird or something like that, or it's this one little thing that we've never seen, observed, we just said it exists because we say so, right? What are the chances that specific feature is that of this imagined creature and not some kind of a bird? What are the chances there, right? Like, is this a reasonable conclusion, right? What's more likely, more probable, right? Occam's razor, ladies and gentlemen.
And because of this feature, we assigned, and together with other...
Right after she says that, she looks down a little bit uncomfortable, right? We assigned... We said it was what we said it was because we said it.
The anatomical features, we assigned this specimen to Oviraptorosaur.
This and other anatomical features.
So in modern day birds, they have a unique behavior called tucking. So starting from day 17, they will curl their body up with its head in between its legs. And then on 18 day, 19 day, until day 20, they will start to move into a final tucking posture that is putting their right wing on top of its head. And this posture was suggested to help the bird stabilizes when they try to crack the eggshell using its beak.
Crack. This behavior helps the bird crack the egg with its beak.
So, and this behavior has long been thought unique to birds, but now we see evidence in our fossil.
A behavior unique to birds we've never observed in any other class of animal.
That
here's the artist with the Dremel tool and a pick, right?
Even in non-bird dinosaurs, they might have the same type of pre-hatching behavior.
They may, because I say so. So, the Soyentists found an egg, and inside of that egg, they found a creature that has a beak and no teeth, and it behaves like a bird. So obviously, looking at all of that, they decided that it must be a dinosaur, right? I mean, like, how fucking stupid is this, right? How fucking stupid is this? But this is what they call science these days. You know what I mean? All these people, this is essentially it, right? If the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem is a nail, right? If you come into this discovery with all these preconceived notions, and you're looking for dinosaurs, right? And you're brainwashed with this evolution nonsense that you've never, ever even questioned, right? Because you're not a scientist. Well, how the fuck are you going to interpret the data, right? When the interpretation happened before you ever got any data. The way in which you interpret the data comes from the paradigm you've swallowed, accepted, believed to be true, without ever questioning it, right? If the only tool you have is a hammer, every goddamn motherfucking problem's gonna be a nail, right? They found a creature inside of an egg with the fucking beak and no teeth that behaves like a bird, right? And despite all of that, they designated this thing to be a dinosaur because they're scientists. But the theory of evolution was based in fraud, was supported by many, many different frauds that were exposed one after another. And this thing basically continues. But it's gotten to a point where they brainwashed enough people to not even realize how full of shit they are. That's how brainwashed these people are, right? Now, is it impossible that this is some kind of an intermediate form between a dinosaur and a bird? Yeah, but if it is that, call it fucking that. Don't call it a dinosaur. Why is it still a dinosaur? And not, I mean, it's more like a bird than a dinosaur, but it's still a dinosaur, right? Because we need a dinosaur with the beak and some feathers coming out of an egg and going, wah, wah, right? So that, because evolution, and we need a missing link and blah, 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 right? This is the type of idiocy, yeah, that has, and just one last thing, before, second to last. Anyone who wants to say, yeah, but look at the size of the egg. Well, I mean, we have observed, I think all the way up to maybe 600 years ago even, was the last sighting of this elephant bird that weighed, I don't know, a ton, close to a ton. It was kind of like an ostrich, right? And it laid these humongous eggs, and it was ginormous. That's only about 600 years ago, if memory serves me correct, right? We've seen these things. We have accounts of these things, drawings, renderings of these things. Like, we basically know they existed, and that's only 600 years ago. How big could a bird have been millions of years ago, if that is even, true? I mean, we have the miniature forest in Chile where I think you have fully grown deer that are like 12 pounds, right? For example. So it's perfectly conceivable that you could have had a bird that was, 2 tons, 3 tons, whatever it would take to justify the egg of that size, right? And maybe a lot of these so-called dinosaurs were exactly that, right? Huge flightless birds. And then some of them also flew, just like birds today. Gee, shocking, right? Or maybe some of them were just huge lizards, right? Why not? They look like lizards. Anyway, this idiocy, right? Clearly, like this should be an embarrassment, not triumph, but a fucking embarrassment for all the Darwinists out there. They find a fucking bird and they call it a dinosaur. Like, duh. What else is there to say, right? But it's exactly this type of idiocy and brainwashing and nonsense that has people believing that a dead thing can evolve using our own bodies' help to kill us. Yeah? Because evolution. A few digital images, right? And some people saying some words here and there. People who have certain degrees and they dress a certain particular way, they say a few things, they give you some digital imagery, and wham bam, thank you, ma'am. The whole world is fucked. Give me a fucking break, man. This is for all of you clowns. Look, could it have happened? Yeah. Is it impossible? I don't know. Maybe it's true, this evolution nonsense. But insofar as things stand right now, you gotta be a fucking idiot to believe this shit. This is how idiotic this nonsense is. Go study it, right? Without any preconceived notion. Look, I used to believe this shit. And then I started asking questions, and then I realized how fucking stupid this is. Okay? And then you see all this fraud, and if you come into this idea with as much as possible an open mind and a blank slate, if you will, if you start questioning all of this stuff, right? Without this preconceived bias, all these preconceived notions and bias, and you still don't see this for the fucking nonsense that it is, you a special kind of moron. Yeah? Thanks for watching.